Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And not only do we have heinous crimes that are being committed, and chaos and disruption in America, but you have it in other countries too. And this is a story straight out of Sweden that has to deal with teenage chaos, teenagers making adult decisions which lead to adult consequences. And this is also cautionary tale about technology that has replaced us as parents, which leads to tons of confusion for kids that are growing up today. They can get any information disseminated to them by a push of a button, whether it's positive or negative. There's also a storyline and a cautionary tale about fatherless homes, about bullying, about fighting, about stress and anxiety for young folks today. Mental health issues that are untreated. It's very important for us as parents to check on our children. Kids are fighting at schools, filming it. There is a lack of sensitivity that is taking place nowadays. And we are losing our humanity each and every day. So this is one straight out of Sweden where 3 teenage girls were involved in an altercation which led to one of them dying and being allegedly murdered. Pajama party murder. Swedish child, 14, is kidnapped, tied up, and killed on her way to a sleepover, with two girls who knew the victim arrested. A teenage girl had been kidnapped, tied up, and killed while she was on her way to a pajama party in Sweden. Emily Sjöberg, 14, was found dead in the town of Landskrona in southern Sweden recently. She was tied up with silver tape and had several cuts and bruises on her body, local media reports. 2 girls, both aged 15, have reportedly been arrested in connection to Emily's kidnapping and murder. So let's see what this story is about. Police say they were friends with Emily and invited her to a pajama party before luring her to an industrial estate near the local train station where they killed her. Chief investigator Kenneth Person said that Emily's body showed signs of severe violence, but he did not reveal the cause of her death. She was found with such injuries and under such circumstances that we suspect that her life was taken and that she was deprived of her freedom before that, Prosecutor Thomas Ovmeyer added. Emily is believed to have been killed sometime between July 21st and 22nd, according to documents from the local court, and her body was found shortly after midnight on Tuesday, July 23rd. The first girl, 15, was arrested in connection with Emilia's kidnapping and murder here recently, before the second 15-year-old teenager was taken into custody a day later. One of the girls has reportedly confessed to being involved in the crime. She also provided information about the background to why it turned out the way it has, according to the prosecutor. The girl's solicitor, or attorney, Maria Stahl Lindgren, confirmed to local media that her client had spoken to police, and the prosecutor added that both girls had made certain concessions to investigators. It is clear that these 3 knew each other well, but both suspects knew of each other and both knew the plaintiff, the prosecutor said. The motive for the brutal murder was a fight over an insult, according to the information obtained by the Swedish newspaper Expression, with Amelia's mother, Anna Schoberg, claiming to the outlet that her daughter was killed out of jealousy over a boy. One of the suspects reportedly told police that there had been no plans to kill Amelia and that the fight got out of hand. But Expression reports that the girls had prepared for the encounter by stealing silver tape and a knife from various stores. The 15-year-old who was arrested first over the murder was reportedly staying at the same group home for teenagers Amelia was living in until recently. So one of the girls and Amelia were living in a group home together. So there was already chaos and disruption in their lives. They were not living with their parents. They were in foster care type of facility in Sweden. And so they already had challenges and probably mental health issues and an unstable environment. She remains in custody while the other girl has been taken into care by social services. The girls even filmed part of the attack, which saw her brutally beating Amelia, according to the Expression. The local police and Coast Guard searched the harbor next to the industrial estate, but did not say what they were looking for. 2 days prior, a bag containing Amelia's bank cards and other belongings were found in the water. Later that day, Chief Investigator Person said that police had found a knife near the crime scene, which they did not rule out as the murder weapon. He added that a second knife was also seized. Amelia's mother, Anna Schoberg, 33, told local media that the family is struggling to come to terms with her daughter's death. I cannot accept that she is dead. We're in shock. Every time it rings, I double check if it's her. I am very much in denial. She said, we haven't accepted it. We won't accept it until we see her. Police told the family that they have identified Amelia, although results from a DNA test as well as comparing dental records are still outstanding. Miss Schoberg, who had Amelia when she was 19, said that the family hasn't been allowed to see Amelia's body and hopes they will be able to do that this week. When the police came together with a priest and told her they had bad news, she said, I replied that I can't tell. She said, I replied that they can't tell me because both my father and mother are already dead. She said she was devastated. She added that since she was informed of her daughter's death earlier that week, she has been in disbelief. So Miss Schoberg, the mother, had lost her mother and father and now her daughter. She said, I don't understand why anyone would want to hurt her. She goes on, she said, my daughter was an angel who always stood up for everyone. Maybe this world wasn't ready for her, she told Swedish broadcaster TV4. Miss Schoberg said her daughter had been stressed about the pajama party and argued with her before Amelia sent her a text while on the train. She said, sorry, Mom, for behaving badly because I was stressed. I love you and you are my life, Amelia's last message to her mother read. The two had just recently, Miss Schoberg and Amelia had just started living together again after Amelia was placed in a group home at age 5. We were going to start over and plan what our new home would look like. She said, I had just finished building a dressing table for her and she had to choose her furniture. She was so happy, her mother told TV4. Ms. Schoberg said that Amelia's new furniture arrived a few days later. She said that she set it up and that she closed the door to her room. She said, I wanted to stay that way. I don't want to forget her, her mother said. and a memorial service was delivered on Amelia's behalf, and it was a very sad situation. So, what do you think of that story? You have three teenage 14, 15-year-old young ladies that had a disagreement over an alleged situation with a boy. Amelia and one of the young ladies lived in a group home together and had at one time been best friends. And as we all know, teenagers tease each other, bully each other, sometimes which leads to fights. But we are getting into a time and space in our world where this starts spilling over into brutal fights and then even diabolical murders, as you hear, and I read in this storyline. There was a very, very terrible case here in St. Louis a year ago where two 15-year-old girls at Hazelwood East High School in North County, St. Louis. I did a video on that. One was a black girl, one was a white girl. They got into a fight, and one of the young ladies ended up getting her head smashed on the street concrete, and she ended up in a coma. Subsequently, the victim did survive. She's in recovery, but that made national news. Then a week later, at a junior high school in Jennings, St. Louis, which is in North County, there was a junior high black male who was 15 years old who got stabbed to death after school. What is going on with our young people today? We are failing our children. There is a lack of leadership, mentorship, poor choices that these teenagers are making will lead to a rough and tough life. You take this case straight out of Sweden. It's not only happening in America, where they reportedly planned this fight and altercation and allegedly may have even planned this murder with duct tape and at least two knives that have been found, and ended up killing this young lady. So her life is gone, Amelia's life is gone, and these other two young ladies, their lives is going to be destroyed as a result of this alleged plot and murder. We have to wake up. If our kids are our future, if there are so many distractions and chaos that is going on throughout our cities, our states, and all around the world, and there's a lot of chaos and disruption inside many of these fatherless homes, and many of these kids are so confused, and there's so much that's being thrown at them today, overly sexualized music and movies, that the real need and the focus for learning and garnering maturity and being a positive person has gone out the window. And our standing and standard for humanity. We are living in a inhumane society today. Our adults, and you're seeing our next generation that are making horrible decisions and choices as teenagers, but that lead to adult consequences. This is a very, very hard story. And just think for the mother, Amelia's mother. It's one thing when you're a kid to lose a parent, as I did as a young person. I lost my mother the day before my 13th birthday to cancer. But I think it is just as horrible to be a parent and to lose a child under any circumstances, let alone the plotting of two teenagers that knew Amelia, and one of them was even good friends with her at one time, for them to plot and allegedly kill her over an argument and a dispute over a boy. Life is much more precious. Life should be way more protected than minor altercations. As you navigate through this, what happens to conflict mediation and resolution? stepping away from a situation, stop speaking to each other, and move on in a positive direction. I'm seeing a ton of people that, whether it is divorce, uh, you're seeing kids killing their parents. You're seeing people that, instead of just getting a divorce and going through a dissolution of a marriage, they're plotting to kill their other spouse. If this is not telltale signs that we are going to hell in a handbasket, and this is possibly the end of days, we need to wake up. There is a woke movement, but we need a wake up movement to move in a positive, righteous, and God fearing way. Tell me what you think about this sad case about this young lady, 14, 15 years old, that was invited to a pajama party under the auspices of having fun, while these two 15-year-old teenagers were always plotting to fight Amelia and possibly kill her, which is what the end result was. And now Amelia's life has been decimated, and these two young ladies' lives will be very tough road to recovery with an alleged murder on their hands. We got to wake up. Tell me what you think. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth.